Hello, YouTuber. This is Demon All Night What and again, and I had something special from my last video to put on, and so this is the top 10 worst Pokemon. Now, before we begin, let's get one thing quite clear. There were three key rules. Rule one: all these entries on this list are my opinion. Rule number two: this is going to cover some of mine. It's evolution. Number three, most important, I will only go. This list is only going over Pokemon from Generation 1 through 4. So, sorry, no news of region Pokemon that are going to appear on this list. So, with that in mind, let's begin. Number 10, Carnivine. Now, at first I thought this Pokemon would be good, especially for one who wants a grass type. A Pokemon that's based off of a Venus Flytrap. And I looked on Bulbawiki, like Bulbapedia, sorry. And Carnivine's stats are horrible. Move forward pretty decent, except for a few attacks. Stockpile, spit up, and swallow. So other attacks that kind of go that point are Bite, Punch, Power Whip, Ingrain, and Faint attack that goes Flame Whip. Plus, even its design looks a little weird. But enough said. Number 9. Number 9 is Delibird. From the second generation Johto. Delibird is one of those Pokemon where you would hate to come across. And it's referred to as the Santa Claus bird because that's only move it learns by leveling up present. However, Delibird sucks. Its signature move present can only do one of two things. One, it can either damage the opponent, its HP, or two, it heals them, which is something you do not want to happen during the battle. And of course, it's typing. Ice and flying. Sorry, Articuno does a better job. On to number 8, which is Dunsparce. Now, a lot of Pokemon critics have said that Dunsparce is the lamest Pokemon and to come out in Generation 2, and I kind of agree. According to its Pokedex entry, Dunsparce is able to fly for short bursts, but uses its tail to make maze-like nests in the ground. Okay, so it can fly. And as well as dig. Wait a minute, that could be right. Dunsparce happens to be a normal type. However, American moves kind of question that, such as Roll Out, Spite, Pursuit, Roost, Endeavor, Flail, Dig, Ancient Power. And these are rock and climb type moves. And then when you look at its design, it's pretty obvious what it should be. Dunsparce's design is based on either some rattlesnake from Mexican mythology or the Tsuchinoko, or a Japanese cryptid that resembles a bat-like snake. And Dunsparce is called the land snake Pokemon, so it's there. Number 7 is a tie between two of what have to be the dumbest looking Pokemon in history. Magikarp and Feebas. And quite frankly, I like the evolution in methods. Well, Feebas not so much. But I like the origin story for Magikarp and Gyarados. Magikarp, well, we don't really know. It's often around a Chinese legend about a carp that becomes a dragon when it swims up a waterfall. And Feebas is just the fish version of the ugly duckling. And it proves true when you find out how it evolves. Feebas can only evolve into Milotic through one of two methods. One is trained biological improvement skill. And two, and this one is really nerve-wracking, it has to have a maximum amount of beauty points from Pokemon contests. And let's not forget to move forward. Magikarp and Feebas basically learn the same mechanics: tackle, flail, and splash. However, Feebas can learn from ATMs, while Magikarp cannot. And the reason why they're at number 7 instead of further down, or further up, is because of their evolution. Milotic, Link, and Gyarados are the equivalent of Beauty and the Beast. Now on to number 6. Pineco and Forretress. Now you might be wondering, how did all these Pokemon come on this list? Well, a lot of reasons, but let's do things taken care of. One, their types. Pineco is a bug type Pokemon. Forretress is a bug and steel type Pokemon. And both of them are referred to as bagworm Pokemon, when they look absolutely nothing like bagworms. Pineco is basically derived from Pinecone, which would be good if it was a grassland bug type. Forretress, on the other hand, looks like a giant clam. How exactly being accomplished is a good idea for now. A Pokemon that is based off of a clam and a Pokemon based off of a Pinecone be bug types. And this is what I have to say about that. Number 5 is the Hoppip Evolution 1. Now let me explain by saying first. The design is really lazy. See, I don't even know what they're supposed to represent. Two are types, grass and pine. And something else that strikes me as odd is their move pool. Flash, Synthesis, Tail Whip, Tackle, Poison Power, Stun Spore, Sleep Powder, Bullet Seed, Leaf Seed, Mega Drain, turn, where we see Giga Drain, Bounce, and Memento. Now, I think if a Pokemon is being good, it has attacks that can actually do something. The Hoppip line only learns 4 moves that can actually do damage. 5 if you count Leech Seed. Or Poison Powder. And sorry, Tropius does a better job at being a grass and flying type. No, even Shaman in flying form does a better job. Number 4. Now, I know this is kind of breaking one of my 3 rules. Also, in that I wasn't going to talk about any level Generation 5 Pokemon. But at number 4, I'll make an exception. It was one a lot of us are confused about. And number 4 is the confusion between Loftus and Alomomola. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing it. Both these Pokemon look alike. Well, the latter actually looks like a more detailed version than the Loftus. And when it came out, well, a lot of us were expecting it to be the evolved form of Loftus. Hey, same coloration, same shape, and they're both mild water types. And then when you look at the evolution, mine does not evolve. Why? Why would you have 2 Pokemon on that one do great as an evolution line and not have them evolve? And speaking of evolutions, and number 3 is Burmy and Wormadam. True bad one Pokemon and Burmy and Wormadam are. Because they actually have the bug. I've actually seen a bad one before. I think that's creepy. Yeah, close. The one thing that kind of confuses me mostly is the different cloaks for me it can be found around. There's leaf cloak, sand cloak, and fresh cloak, which results in its evolution. If it's a female Burmy, it evolves more than that, and respectively. If it's a male, it evolves in the market. However, with Wormadam's designed is basically like the same, just with different and added features or different subtractive features. Sandcloak is a bug and ground type, and Leafcloak is a bug and grass type, and Trashcloak is a bug and steel type. Moving on. And number 2 is, okay, yeah, I'm pronouncing this right. Theon. You're right, Theon, Biomon. Nappy baby form. Now, it's really my understanding that Pokemon has a few rules in this game. Rule 1, you cannot capture another Pokemon controllers. This Pokemon, obviously. And number 2, the most important, legendary Pokemon do not breed. And they broke that rule on Generation 4. So, Theon is the baby form of Manaphy, of course. which is the result of the green Manaphy with the Ditto. And surprisingly, this is the only Pokemon that can be obtained and from a legendary through breeding. Thank God. But the idea of legendary Pokemon having the ability to breed, where the rule rules of the game are simply a legendary Pokemon cannot breed. Sometimes they don't have genders. Well, except for two. So Latios and Latios. But that's different. Also, its design. And what you have to say, it looks very close to Manaphy. It's overall very good for legendary, as well as it being the smallest of the legendaries, or any other water type for that matter. Move pool includes Bubble Beam, Charm, Acid Armor, Whirlpool, Aqua Ring, Dive, and Rain Dance. And like Vaporeon, actually, this Pokemon is able to merge with water, or as it's seen in the anime. Now, I know what you're thinking. Beyond's at number 2 because it's the result of what happened when games with such break their rule and some breeding. So what's number 1? Oh, this one's really a shocker. And number 1 is Smeargle. Yes. The old Beagle artist Pokemon. From Generation 2. I like its design in that it has a paintbrush on the end of its tail. However, I do not like its move very much. It only runs one attack every 10 levels. Sketch. With only one power point in on Sketch, it can only run one attack. And unfortunately, that one attack happens to be the last one your opponent used against you. Now, well, let's think about it for a second. Say, for example, your opponent that uses a very good attack up against your Smeargle, such as Psychic. That gives Smeargle new step, and can boom, and learn Psychic. And that's the only move it can learn for another 10 levels, but it's a good one. However, if it's a move that doesn't do anything, and it means it's causing damage to your opponent's life points or whatever, you're kind of stuck with it for another 10 levels and you can experience share on it. Now, I know the game some Pokemon that may would be considered very bad, mostly in Generation 5, but there is one Pokemon I did forget, and I'll make it an honorable mention. And that is Wobbuffet. You know, when Generation 3 came out, I thought that it would have a lot of good that Pokemon is. A fire type turtle. That's new. Oh, we have new fossil Pokemon. And after skipping a generation, that's cool. The stars look really good. And the legendaries are based off of the biblical monsters, which is a thumbs up. But then you have some that don't really belong, and such as Riverfit. It's designed for a plant, and it's got one of the highest HPs of any Pokemon in the series, along with Slaking, Snorlax, and Blissey. Now, the reason why I want to make this Pokemon an honorable mention is simple. It only learns 4 attacks, and none of them really work. But, Counter, Destiny Bond, Mirror Coat, and Detect. And guess what? Those are only 4 at once. You can't teach any TM. It doesn't learn anything else. Just do leveling up. That's it. And that is my top 10 worst Pokemon from Generation 1 through 4 and plus 1 and Generation 5. 8 entries. Next time I'll do the top 15 best, in my opinion. And hopefully it'll redeem a few points on that one. Then later on. Until then, see ya.